The theme for this, our first season of the Chick Report, is A Woman's Place is in the Story. In this episode, guest host Dr. Kelley Mathews will talk with me, Dr. Sandra Glahn, about what story, and I'll introduce viewers and listeners to our namesake, Nancy Chick. Welcome to episode 1 of the Chick Report. I'm your host, Dr. Sandra Glahn. And in today's episode, we'll be talking about my indirect journey to the Academy, my unexpected journey to the Academy, my vision for this podcast, and the story of Nancy Chick, who helped make it all possible. Our first season theme is A Woman's Place is in the Story, and I'm joined here today by my very good friend, Dr. Kelley Mathews, who will be asking the questions. That is not how it will normally work, but today you'll get to know me, your host. So Kelley, welcome. Thanks for being here.
This is so great. Thank you for inviting me to do this particular episode. So since we're getting to know you, give us a little bit of your educational background, like school.
Okay, went to Bible college in the Washington, D.C. area. I'm a government brat, so we were living there, but I'm fifth generation Oregonian. You didn't ask me that, but this is essential to who I am.
Yes, it is.
So Bible college, I had started in a youth group there in the D.C. area, married my college, high school sweetheart. So my second year, his third year, we got married and finished Bible college together, and then came down to Dallas Theological Seminary, put all our belongings in a U-Haul, and off we came. He got a THM. Eventually, I got a THM and then went on to get a PhD. But it was not a direct route because I didn't believe that women should, be in seminary. And I thought I was going to be the mother of 4 kids, and I didn't really believe women should have vocations, and fortunately I married a very secure man who had better visions for who I could be and what I could do than I had for myself.
You've definitely come a long way since those years, which is when we met, when you and I were both students at Dallas.
In seminary, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So then the PhD is from the University of Texas at Dallas in aesthetic studies.
And since then, or well, actually during those years of education, you were writing as well. So.
True. Yeah.
Don't name all of them. There's too many. I mean, you're in the 20s, 30s as far as how many books?
I think probably 25-ish, depends on if you add translations.
We do.
Okay. Ooh,
okay,
well, yeah.
So you've got plenty. But give us maybe a snippet of some of your titles.
Okay. A whole Bible study series or 12 series in the Coffee Cup Bible Study series. Marital intimacy, so sexual intimacy in marriage, group effort, vindicating the vixens, looking at vilified, marginalized women of the Bible. More recently, Nobody's Mother, Artemis of the Ephesians, and Antiquity in the New Testament. And then the book we're going to be sort of building this whole season around is called A Woman's Place is in the Story, IVP, academic.
And that's forthcoming at this point.
At the time of taping, it's forthcoming, yeah.
Okay. And your day job.
Oh, my day job. What is that? Yeah. So I am a professor. Media arts and worship is my emphasis. I'm training writers. I'm a big believer in immersive courses. Yes, it's fun to go to Italy. Yes, it's fun to go to the UK, but also I'd be happy to do it in Name Your Small Town America, because in person, around a table, doing what our past president of the seminary used to call napkin theology, where you just pull out a napkin and start drawing. That's my favorite way to interact with students. And I think probably their favorite way to interact with students.
I'll agree with that. Yeah. I've been there. Yeah. I've been on one of those trips, and I can attest. Yeah. It's super satisfying, and you just learn differently. You learn as much, but probably more.
And you can think while you're on the bus and then come back to the same person you were talking to, and what about this that you just can't do in a classroom?
Right, yeah. And then the touching and the seeing and the walking and the steps and
all
of those things.
Great pasta, yeah.
Right? Oh, yeah, the eating.
Sticky toffee pudding in the UK. Okay,
gosh.
Yeah. Oh, the eating, yeah.
So what made you want to do this podcast?
Well, there are lots and lots of people with great ideas, men and women alike, doing good scholarship, and I wanted to expose listeners to what they have to say. I love asking questions, and so hopefully we can answer some of those questions. I think the biggest one that a lot of people run into when they're looking at Scripture is God for women? Mm-hmm. And I will say some of the more conservative commentaries just don't address some of the questions that come up, like, trigger warning. There's a gang rape at the end of the book of Judges, and and the woman is not named or given a voice, and I think that's an indictment of Israel, not of the woman. But those are the kinds of questions that people ask that are excellent questions. Why is she not given a voice?
Yeah.
Why is that how God sees her? So I want to explore some of those issues that started out as my questions and bring in some folks that have good answers.
So you're going to have this season and future seasons just full of different guests who are...
Most of them scholars, not necessarily all of them. They'll be experts. But yeah, men and women. We're looking at, we'll have an Old Testament scholar talking about some of the Old Testament stories. We'll have Lynn Cohix will be coming in to talk about the Samaritan woman.
Of course. And I know some of these names you're talking about. I'm like, this is so exciting. This is going to be fun. So
Sam Glahn is going to be talking about that funky passage about drinking bitter waters to prove or not prove or disprove that a woman committed adultery. What's going on with that? He has some excellent scholarship I'm really eager for listeners to hear about.
Okay, so as you're talking about different women, right, just in those examples, it's making me go to my next question is like the theme of this whole season is a woman's place is in the story.
Correct.
Tell me
Yeah.
more.
Well, sometimes we just skip women in the Bible story, like the story of Tamar in Genesis. A lot of times we'll just tell the story of Judah and just go, that's a weird little diversion. We won't even bother to stay there. If we even include it, she is shown to be a loose woman, an immoral woman, and that's how she's often treated in Jesus's genealogy. I don't think that that's how we're supposed to read that story. So that's an example of a story where we just leave the women out. Then you got the woman at the well, who we have said she is a loose woman because the husband she has now is not her own. But that's a very Western. We don't have concubines in our culture. Also, the idea that she would just dump 5 husbands in divorce court. You don't have a woman walking into a court of law by herself without a guardian in that culture. We say that every Easter, right? Women's testimony is worth nothing. So why do we think that she's dumping? She's probably widowed or they've divorced her. She's been hurt. And I think Jesus is taking a trauma-informed approach to her by talking about going right for her pain. And I hear compassion in his voice. He's not going for her sin. He's going, yes, we have sin and we need to acknowledge that, but I don't think that's what that story is teaching. So we leave women out or we vilify them wrongly in the story. Or sometimes, and one of the things we'll have you on as a guest to talk about is our translations don't bear out that there are women assumed in some of the passages.
So they're already
They're already kind of hidden, and and so I want us to not only look at women in the Bible. I don't want to just cameo the women in the Bible. When we take them out, what are we missing in the bigger story? They're in there because they're part of the story. And so if we change who they are, or if we change or we just ignore them, then we miss something essential in the story that makes us go, why is Judah suddenly giving his life for his brother when before he was selling a brother to slavery? Well, there was an encounter with Tamar in the middle of that. That's an important part of the character arc there.
Yeah, so the women that we or you are going to end up talking about, exploring their lives through the biblical text, they're there, not just and we don't want to just highlight them.
Correct.
We want
Bingo.
to say,
Cha-ching.
like,
what are we missing?
Yeah,
what are we missing when we distort them or leave them out?
Yeah, I mean, and we were trained, to look at the biblical text and go, everything's there for a reason. Like, plenary inspiration, those sorts of terminology of, it's all inspired. So when we ignore parts or just skim right over parts, we're missing something integral.
Something essential. So it's not just for women. It might be about women, but it will definitely, we will have male and female experts here talking about those passages that we all need. It's scripture for all of us.
That's great. So when I first heard the name of this, I immediately
the Chick Report.
The Chick Report is about girls, or it's going to have,
of course.
You of course laughed, and you were like, nope. Yeah. So tell us why the Chick
So I am
Report.
doing a little play on words.
Yes,
So as you know, and our listeners need to know if they don't, my own history is my husband and I had 7 early pregnancy losses, and then 3 failed adoptions. And then we had a successful adoption of our daughter, who's now 30-ish. And then I had an ectopic pregnancy. And so loss in that realm is a big part of our story. And legacy has been a big part of our story, and just relooking at non-traditional legacies, right? There's more than one way to leave a mark, a good mark, hopefully. And so I encountered this story in my husband's background just in the past couple of years. His dad passed away, and there were stories left to us. And I found Nancy Chick.
Okay.
Nancy Chick came over from Ireland with her sister's husband, and their little girl. So Nancy's niece, who's named after her, so they call her Nana. And so they come from the old country. Her husband dies. She remarries. I'm sorry, I had that wrong. They come from Ireland. They settle in Missouri, and her husband signs up to be in the Civil War, and he's killed. So she remarries, and that's where the name Chick comes into the family.
Okay.
No relation whatsoever. It's just the name. And they decide to deed 100 acres to this niece when she's 5 years old. And they're not dying anytime soon. 10 years later, they'll have a son who lives 4 years, and then he dies. So they have a sort of a tragic story. There's no biological legacy there. But they have left this land to their niece. And we have from the tax records that they paid the taxes on it for about 5 years. And then when the niece turns 18, she sells the land to her brother and pockets the money. Okay. And it's only been, this is the 1860s. In the 1840s, a law was passed in the U.S. That said a woman could own her own property, which is a good thing because it meant she could keep the money. So when she married, when she was in her early 20s, had a baby boy, and 14 months into the marriage, she left an abusive husband. And a neighbor reported that he had seen her walking down the road carrying her baby boy, going back to her parents' house. Okay. But she could leave an abusive man because she had means.
She had that money.
She had the money.
Oh, okay.
So she moves in with her parents, never remarries, cares well for her parents into their old age. But her son marries, and so she lives with him and his family. And long story short, her son was my husband's grandfather. And that land, which when her parents died, when her dad died, he left her some land, and there were several heirs, but she used money she had to buy out the other heirs. And that became the family farm in Missouri. And that family farm put my husband through Bible college. When I married my husband, I stayed in school. I was going to quit school. And my father-in-law said, "Why would you quit college?" I'm like, "Because I'm going to be a mom, you know?" Wow. And he's like, you might regret it. I'm so glad. And of course, my husband's there going, "Come on, stay in school. It's fine because we got the bills covered." I remember a couple of times when my husband would go to the bursar and say, "Can we wait to pay the school bill till the bean check comes in?"
The bean check?
The bean check came in late in the fall.
Oh, my goodness.
And he's like, "We don't really want to take out a loan for 2 months. Can you just float it to us?" So anyway, this farm is paying for our Bible college education. Then it pays for my husband to get a THM from seminary. It pays for my THM. It pays for part of my PhD. And today is still paying for about 50 kids in Kenya to go to school.
Wow. Okay, so that's 140 years?
It's a long time later. And Nancy Chick, because she loved her niece and because her niece invested well, I'm a happy beneficiary.
Right.
And the reason I could be an educated woman is because of Nancy Chick's legacy. So it seemed very fun to me to find this woman that is actually not biologically related to me, to be the namesake of the Chick Report, which most people will not know unless they listen to this episode.
Right, but
why
she
we
has
named it that.
another legacy.
Exactly,
right?
bingo.
There you go. I love it. Yeah, great stories behind names are always really, really fun. So you've already kind of told us a little bit about the visitors, your guests, and what we're going to come to experience over the next season. Do you know how many episodes-ish? we're looking
9-ish,
for?
10-ish.
Okay. Yeah, well, that'll be plenty of variety. Okay. All right. One more question before we wrap up. What drew you to the women of the Bible specifically? Because it could have been anything, you know.
Yeah, well, some of it was my journey because I did have a view that the Bible, I thought, was just only for the nuclear family, which is important, but it's not the only thing. And, you know, you've done a lot of work in Jesus's mother, and I think of that story when people are saying, hey, your biological family's here, and Jesus like, who is my family? It's those who do the will of God, which his mother had done. He's not dissing her. He's elevating. She did the more important thing, right? Than just quote be a mom. Although she did, you know, she is the mother to the Son of God.
We'll take it.
Yeah, we'll take it. But you know what I'm saying? Like he is saying, don't just elevate that. There's something deeper here. So I went on a journey to say, where did I get it wrong? Where did I get this idea? Because it was a crisis for me when I couldn't have kids.
Right.
I had no pattern for what my life could be. I thought I was worthless.
Oh.
Yeah, it was a spiritual crisis. So the seminary journey for me was very much about just figuring out where I got it wrong and who am I and what am I here for. And so what I uncovered and the way I got answers, and the reason I'm a seminary professor today, which I would just,
Right.
if I had a crystal ball and if I had seen the future, like I would have said something like, "Oh, I'm going to go liberal in the future." Like that's how I would have interpreted that. But anyway, it has been life-giving to me to see who God is, made in God's image, the plan, the love God has for women, the total twisting and misunderstanding of a bunch of texts. So I have a desire to pass that on because so often men and women alike are asking really good questions about some of these hard texts.
And through your books and your, well, it's a Substack, but you've had a blog for a long time. You've written a bunch of articles, and you have been progressively over the years sharing some of this knowledge. So this is just yet another iteration of, you know,
More
communicating.
voices.
Yeah, and you've always enjoyed the collaboration. Exactly.
I have,
That's sort of your middle name there.
Oh, that's kind. Thanks.
Well, yeah, that and beauty. Yes, you've kind of got
Beauty.
a thing for that. Hopefully that'll come out in some of these.
We're not talking about physical beauty. We're talking about the beauty rooted in the theology of who God is.
I'm sure that will come through in some of the upcoming episodes. So how can listeners connect with you and this whole
A big key is
podcast?
spelling my last name correctly. So, I mean, first of all, we want people to subscribe to the Chick Report on YouTube. Also, Sandra Glahn, Glahn, not Gallahan and not Gland, sandraglahn.com. And for those writers out there, the /writing, there's some free resources there if you want to, for people who want to get started in writing, because I do have a passion for training writers.
Yes, you do.
And then my Substack, same name. So if you can spell my name right, you can find me on the web.
Yes, that's an easy Google search.
Same. I have a Facebook author page, Sandra Glahn author on Instagram.
Great. So she's all over social media. She's on Substack, and this will be on YouTube.
And some other places like, Spotify and all that.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
just the audio.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to do a lightning round.
All right. Lightning round it is. Hit me.
Fun stuff. Footnotes or endnotes?
Oh, totally footnotes.
Oh,
I
thank
do
you.
not want to flip to the back of a book. I want to read it now. What about you?
Same.
Oh,
I was like, okay, let's see how many we agree on.
Yeah, let's see how many we agree on. Okay, what's
Kindle or audiobook?
Oh, neither.
Oh, that's not fair.
Okay. Audiobook if I'm listening to fiction, but I like to read, and I really don't like the Kindle at all.
Okay, like,
At all.
do you mean you don't like a digital format or just the Kindle?
Oh, yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, I like hard copy books. I own a Kindle, but it hasn't been charged for years.
Okay, all right. Well, then we'll go with audiobook on that one.
Yeah.
Writing in the morning or at midnight?
Yes.
Okay.
Wait, well, back up. Kindle or audio?
No audio. I don't do audiobooks.
Don't do audiobooks.
Yeah, because I think faster than they talk, even if I put them on speed.
Okay.
And so I'm like, move it.
Yeah. Come on,
I could
hurry
read,
up.
read
Let's get
faster
this
than I
on the
can
road.
hear. And Kindle is just easier to carry.
Oh, okay.
And
So
I
you
have a
do
whole
use the
library.
Kindle. Yes, you do.
Well, I put it on my tablet, so the app. So writing in the morning or at midnight. I'm up later, so I tend to be found writing at midnight more than writing in the morning. So
So my best time is at 10 a.m.
that's the. Oh, I'm thinking
But-
really early.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Then
so
that would
my
work.
sweet spot is 10 a.m., but that is almost always when a meeting is scheduled. Almost always.
Remind me not
anyway.
to call you at 10 a.m. Okay. Conference presentation or journal publication?
Oh, journal publication for sure.
Why?
Why? Because I love to write. And I remember one time I was speaking and my mom, it was the only time my mother's ever been in the audience. And I was talking about Chuck Colson, but I accidentally said Richard Nixon. Right administration, wrong person. And my mom goes, I think you mean Chuck Colson, honey. She was right.
Okay.
And this is why I prefer
I hear you.
journal, because
I
you
hear
can
you.
edit yourself and have other people see it before
It's gone through many rounds.
It's gone through many rounds. This is
of
the thing I'm
eyes.
most nervous about a podcast.
Okay, gotcha.
But anyway, what about you?
I would say the same, journal,
Okay.
because speaking in public makes me sweat. Like it's
Okay.
I
You can
haven't-
do it, but it's
I
not
haven't
your
done it
thing.
enough to be super comfortable at it, and so I enjoy listening to them though because I learn a lot. Library or coffee shop?
Library.
Because it's
I love coffee. Don't get me wrong.
we know, yeah,
We know, yeah. But a library is quiet and less likely to get interrupted. And if I'm in a library, I want to be in the zone. And you probably know there's this big study that says if you get pulled out of the zone, it's 25 minutes till you're back. So all it takes is, it doesn't even have to be running into somebody I know in a coffee shop.
It's just
it could
distraction.
be somebody bumping me. It can be somebody dropped a dish. Yeah. So
Yeah, I'd have to say the same. Even though I love to go to coffee shops, but I don't go so that I can write deeply. I go because I need the ambiance,
Gotcha.
or I'm not doing anything super intense. Print. Oh well, we've already done this. Printed books or PDFs.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
we go
printed.
with the printed books. Deadline pressure or slow perfection, and I know the answer to this.
You do know the
I
answer?
do.
How would you answer that for me?
Oh, you need the deadline.
I do need the deadline.
I know this because I'm the same way. We've talked about it.
Okay. I wish it weren't that way.
I know.
But yeah,
No slow and steady wins the race
no
for
slow.
you.
Well, I mean, there is some slow and steady. For example, when I was writing A Woman's Place is in the Story, the Lanier Library in Houston was so gracious. 2 different mini sabbaticals they gave me as a guest in their guest house. They gave me, a table where I had a little stand that said, visiting scholar, so I could leave my library books out all night and they didn't put them back. And all of that was great. And that was not on a deadline, except that I knew I only had 2 weeks. It was sort of its own kind of deadline,
Your own
right?
internal.
Yeah, I
make
had
your
my own. So I was super productive there, but partly because I wasn't at home, there was no laundry to do. I was just focused on
Yeah, you
writing.
got a retreat.
Yeah, I got a retreat. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a deadline girl. To my detriment.
Well, I think that's why we have schools like seminary. A lot of the things that you learn in seminary are books that you could read on your own. But would you? You didn't have a deadline in
Right,
the grade.
right.
You could write those papers, but would you? I mean, probably not.
So this chapter I have to write in a year. Just know I'm not going to look at it at least for 6 months.
Yeah.
Right?
That's right.
Okay. Peer review. Is it a necessary evil or a noble tradition?
Oh, I think it's wonderful. I think the more eyes on a text, the better, and the more diverse the eyes, the better. So definitely, I'm a big fan. In fact, again on A Woman's Place is in the Story, when I turned it into my editor at University Press, IVP Academic, I didn't know he was going to give me a peer review on the first run through, and that peer review was just gold. Because she has expertise in areas that I don't, and just little tiny tweaks that made it more accurate. It was a gift to the readers, not just me.
So yeah, as a writing professor, that's one of those truths that is something to communicate, and you do. Of like, don't be afraid of peer review. Like you have your students helping each other in class on their what they've written.
Yeah, that's right. Because it is gold to get feedback before the rest of the world sees it.
Right.
It's a gift. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. This is the deal breaker here.
Oh yeah. Okay. I bet I know what you're going to ask.
Is it the Oxford
comma?
comma?
Yes.
Essential or optional?
It is completely not, absolutely not optional.
Thank you.
So I did have
We can stay friends.
I did, yeah, we can stay friends. I did have a student this week who said, my son told me that the Oxford comma, is kind of pedantic. And I was like, no, this is not a matter of opinion. and I'm not just being funny, as you know, like it's because most of the time when you're writing for publication, you're writing for Chicago Manual / Travian, and you have to have the Oxford. Yeah. But if you're writing a scientific journal, maybe not, right? Or if you're writing for the Associated Press, no. So I guess he thought it was like a personal preference.
Right.
And it's like, because I've been in publishing, it's not optional.
Yeah.
And it drives me crazy. But I also will say things like, the Oxford comma vindicates people.
Oh, yeah.
Because I could say there were drunks, Kelley, and Talitha. And if you don't have a comma, you don't know that those are three things. Right. Talitha and Kelley could be the drunks in that story. And
right. We could be in big trouble.
You could be in big trouble. So use the comma.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right. Then we're safe.
We are safe.
Good. All right. So any parting thoughts?
Yeah. So my niece told me this great story recently. She was telling me how she was training her daughter, who's five-ish, in ethics.
Okay.
And we were talking about how she was saying, okay, if there's a fire alarm, you don't pull that. And then she said, if there was a fire, would you pull it? And, her daughter's like, no. And she said, yes, you would. And we were talking about how difficult it is to help people discern when do you break the rule. And our conclusion was the one rule that rules them all is love. So that's going to be my sign off. The one rule to rule them all is love. Thanks for being here.
This is great.
Appreciate your friendship. Thank you for joining us for the Chick Report. And thanks also to our wonderful producer, Talitha Summers, and our fabulous production manager, Kyle Walker. Till next time, remember, love is the one rule that rules them all.